Welcome to this week's virtual Drasha. This week we have the incredible privilege of Parshas Kedoshim. And the Parsha is filled with so many beautiful, magnificent, and profound mitzvos. But the truth is, the profundity of the Parsha really begins at its very inception, at the beginning. Hashem says to Moshe in the second pasuk of the Parsha, Dabra al kaladas b'nei Yisrael. Speak to the entire assembly of the Jewish people and tell them, V'amart aleim, and say unto them, Kedoshim to you. Be holy. Such simple words, but yet leaves us a little bit almost confounded and confused. I understand that Hashem wants us to be holy, but what does holiness mean? And how does one achieve, how does one accomplish reaching a level of holiness? Kedoshim to you, simple words, yet seemingly an overwhelming spiritual mandate. And the commentaries in the Mefarshim have many different interpretations. Rashi explains that Kedoshim to you, how do you achieve holiness? Rashi understands it's through adhering to a strict code of morality. Kedusha means morality, specifically sexual morality, being a moral individual, not falling prey to the lusts and to the wants of life. The Ramban, on the other hand, explains the famous idea, Kadesh is atzmecha b'mashem mutralach, that whereas Kedusha is taking the things that may be permitted, but ultimately making the decision that, you know what, I'm not going to have it. I can have it, I could do it if I wanted, but at the end of the day, I don't need this. So it's almost like a sense of self-restraint. Something is permitted, but I'm choosing instead to give it up, and many other interpretations. But I want to share with you is something truly beautiful by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Rebbe says, I'm going to quote you, he says, Yesh lilmod mikan hora'a l'chol makom u'l'chol zman. The Rebbe says just the phrase Kedoshim to you itself, be holy, teaches us such an incredibly profound idea. Namely what? The Rebbe says, when you want to inspire people to be better, when you want to inspire people to become the best version of themselves, when you want to inspire people to self-actualize, the Rebbe says there are two different ways you can do it. You can go ahead and highlight all of the things a person should not do. You could also go ahead and stress all of the shortcomings and all of the faults and explain this is broken and this is broken and that's broken and I have to fix this and you have to fix this and you have to work on this. That's one way, says the Rebbe. Or you could build a person up. You could remind a person of their individual greatness. You could remind a person of their personalistic holiness. And by stressing to the individual, you're great, you're special, you're fantastic, that gives them the strength, gives them the chizuk to become the best version of yourself. So interesting, two different approaches. You can highlight that which is broken. You can highlight all the prohibitions and go ahead and say, work on this, fix this, do this, stop this, valid. Or remind a person of their personalistic greatness. And hopefully when a person looks in the mirror and they see greatness looking back, that gives them the chizuk, that gives them the strength to be able to actualize that personalistic greatness. Which approach is correct? The truth is both approaches are necessary at different times in life. But the Rebbe tells us something amazing. He says they're both correct, but which one does HaKadosh Baruch Hu prefer? Kedoshim to you. Kedoshim to you, listen to what the Rebbe says. The Rebbe explains, he says, Haderech lekach eina be'emtzaz as haras va'anashim, ela ayidei pesicha besignon chiyuvi, bahadgashas, Ma'alasan Shal Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, gather the people, gather them together. And the truth is, this parsha is filled with so many instructions, things we're supposed to do, things we're not supposed to do. And Hashem says to Moshe, the first thing you have to tell the people, first thing, Daber al kaladas b'nei Yisrael. The first thing, V'amart aleim, Kedoshim to you. Now, if Hashem tells us to be holy, that means that He believes in our ability to be holy. And if He believes in our ability to become holy, it must mean that we already possess some level of beautiful, luminescent holiness. Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Kedoshim to you on its most basic level, besides being a commandment that requires us to do other things, is a vote of confidence from the Ribono Shel Olam. Hashem says, be holy, be holy. Oh, 1 second. You see, you can't tell someone to do something that they're not capable of doing, right? If I go over to a 5-year-old child and I say, you know what, here's a trigonometry problem, get it done. That doesn't make any sense. The 5-year-old doesn't know trigonometry. I don't know trigonometry, right? But the 5-year-old doesn't know trigonometry, right? So to give them the problem to solve is ridiculous. You can only ask someone to do something if you believe they have the requisite skill set. You can only ask someone to do something if you believe that they possess that koach. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Kedoshim tiyu, be holy, you can only be holy if you have a capacity for holiness. And if you have a capacity for holiness, that means that there is some innate residual holiness inside of me already. Kadosh Baruch Hu is building us up. Hashem is reminding us to believe in ourselves. Kedoshim tiyu, I'm asking you to be holy because you are already holy. The Ribono Shel Olam building us up by reminding us of our personalistic greatness. And what an incredible yesod. Because the truth is, this is so incredibly important in terms of our relationships with others, our relationship with ourselves. Sometimes in our relationships with others, sometimes it could be in a marriage, in a parent-child relationship, things don't go as planned. And it's often reflexive that when your significant other, your spouse, your child, your parent, your friend doesn't do what you want, so you kind of unload a little bit, right? A little bit of a musar shmooze, a little bit. And whereas there's a time and place for that, sometimes if you build people up, it gives them the ability to make the changes and to fix the things that are broken in a much better way than beating them down. And it applies with our relationship with ourselves. When we look in the mirror, what do we see? All too often, all we see when we look at ourselves is what's broken, what's in a state of disrepair, and what's misfiring. Now the truth is, dear friends, we have to be honest. A person always has to be cognizant of their failures and shortcomings. A person always has to be cognizant of the things that are broken. But that can't be the only thing I focus on. Kedoshim tiyu, I have to see the goodness inside of me as well. I have to see the spiritual beauty inside. I have plenty of mistakes, no shortage of mistakes, no shortage of shortcomings. But lamaisa, there's so much good inside of me as well. Focus on that. Don't forget about that. Yeah, fix the stuff that's broken. But don't forget about the stuff that's beautiful, the stuff that's great. And says the Rebbe, that's the lesson that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us. If you want to help others become great, don't push them down, lift them up. You want to help yourself achieve maximum personalistic greatness, don't put yourself down, lift yourself up. Kedoshim tiyu is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, I believe in you, because I wouldn't ask you to be holy if I felt it was out of reach. I wouldn't ask you to be holy if I felt you weren't capable. If I ask you to be holy, it means you are already holy. Just try a little bit harder. Just push a little bit more, and you will discover the true, complete extent and measure of your personalistic Kedusha. May be zocha Meretz Hashem to lift others up, be zocha to lift ourselves up, and in Meretz Hashem, Shoah Kodesh Baruch Hu, thank you for believing on us. You believed that we were Kadosh, and now Baruch Hashem, we're trying our best to maximize that personalistic Kedusha. Wishing everyone a good Erev Shabbos and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh.